excited time again, to everyone, thanks for passing through again, to the channel. But it is, another squad selection drop, for the Reggae Boys. Yes, for the Reggae Boys. I think we get like 3 squads in the last 10 days. But we're there again, to review, react, to the squad, give my opinion, give my takes and what I think about the squad as well. Good day to everybody. Remember, people, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel. But to each and everyone, what I would say, 6 JPL players, in the Gold Cup squad. I think 5 JPL players in the World Cup qualifier squad that set to play, BVI and also Guatemala at home. We have 9 defenders, in this squad, 5 midfielders and 9 forward and 3 goalkeepers. That's 26. So the Gold Cup squad, to be honest, it is a very good squad, but there's always room for improve. There's always room to improve on the squad. But as well, look, more have to say this. 2 things, we just feel like there's an invisible quota system that the selection pool, the administration really have on the senior team, where us fans, the journalists out there that cover sports, I just think that they just cannot see that invisible quota system. But there's a lot of loopholes in around the selection team. I'm just have to say as well, the 60-man pool that them named like a week and a half ago, I will say that is one of the most BS 60-man squad I've ever seen. I'm going to get into it because the more you see squad selection for the Reggae Boys, the more you're seeing players that should have at least get included in that 60-man roster. And Ravel is one of them. A couple players playing in the Serbian league. I think over there in like Latvia, Macedonia, somewhere, but in the far side of Europe, close to the Middle East. You will see a lot of those players that over there could I get included? Could I get included in the 60-man pool? So in that 60-man pool is one of the most BS 60-man pool, but it is what it is. They named the 60-man pool with like 20 plus Jamaican Premier League players. Some players that don't deserve to be in the team, especially to get named in a World Cup qualifier squad and also a Gold Cup squad going forward. But I'm going to give my takes right after this. So 3 goalkeepers, you will say what, Shaquan Davis, Shaquan Davis, Andre Blake, Shaquan Davis, Andre Blake and Jamal Wade. And I would say, maybe, with the run that Shaquan Davis really got, in the Unity Cup versus Trinidad and Nigeria, I think it show him up a little bit where there's a lot of loopholes, in Shaquan Davis' performances and how, he keep in between the sticks. I think I can probably do a better job than him, but I think I'm capping right there. But maybe Shaquan Davis probably could have get pulled up. This is not really a major concern for me because the third string goalkeeper in the national team, has been September until now. Shaquan Davis has picked in every national team that selected for a competitive game or a unofficial friendly game for the Reggae Boys, and seems like he's a favorite one. But what about the young men, Jaden Hibbert, been in around, Atlanta MLS, senior setup, keeping for, Atlanta 2 team. He's a very good goalkeeper. He's 20 years old. I think he got drafted in the first round as well for University of Connecticut. So very, very, very highly rated, from Atlanta, and maybe he could have even give that that boy a chance because I think he got picked in the unofficial friendly games that we played versus Trinidad and Tobago. So I mean, he's very good at his feet. He's like 6'3", close to 6'4". So he's a very tall goalkeeper. So maybe Shaquan Davis. And look, if you talk about a goalkeeper that lost his spot in the player for his club team at the club level, and he haven't featured for his club team in the last, I would say, in the last 3 games. So coach been talking about farm, what you currently play, but again, it's not a big issue with Shaquan Davis of him in RZ out of the team. But moving on, to I think we have 5 centre back, the Pinnock, the Mason Oldgate, the Damian Lowe, the Richard King, the Joe Latibodier, and it is 5 defenders with 4. The 5 centre half with the 4 wing backs. You will say Kyle Ming as a half could play centre half and a wing back as well, the right sided, and then you have the 2 left back, Greg Lay and Amarabel, which are the staples. Whenever those 2 players fit, they will always get selected in the team. But Pinnock is back in the team, which it will create a little animosity with an individual about Ethan Pinnock of missing the World Cup qualifier game, which I think if the player have a personal issue, for not, to get selected or not available for the World Cup qualifier game, you have a personal issue. No, Pinnock is back. I never question Pinnock commitment to the team, as these stuff will always happen whenever it reach international stage, for a player to represent his national team. But maybe, we could have dropped out at least one of those defenders, out of the 9. Maybe it would have probably been Ming, because if you look at it, a Mason Oldgate, someone that played, 70 plus time, at right back in his career. Joe Latibodier, have played, right back over 5 times in the past season, just gone, for Coventry. So we have 2 players in the team that naturally can play as a right back. So I don't think you really could have need your extra body. Maybe you could have, beef up that midfield, because it's 4 natural central midfielders that we have in the team. Busy Atkins with an out and out attacking player, that make up the 5. But the return of Bobby Reid in the midfield, again, that's good news to see. Bobby Reid is back, he's fit, he's Mr. Reliable in that central department for the Reggae Boys as well. Casey Palmer, John Russell, the Isaac Hayden, it's a continuity. So I'm loving it there. But if you could ask me, maybe we could have taken at least one more player out from, the midfield, from the defensive line. And again, people can say Oldgate have played as a CDM in his career, some part. Nana Lowe have played there as well, so you could actually take one of those players. I mean, it's just vice versa, but I could see the flexibility, in the squad, that players can rotate to different positions. Greg Lee as a wing back can play as a right back, which play I think as a right back, in the Nations League as well. So I mean, it's just one of them things. But again, flexibility is really good in the team. But Ravel, this is where the coach, this is where the coach would get a lot of beat. How can you, say so much bright stuff in your last interview about Ravel Morrison, about, his maturity, of him helping out, he's training well, he's helping the young players and not being selected in a 60-man pool. He's just baffled that Ravel Morrison is not in a 60-man pool with 20 plus Jamaican Premier League players in that 60-man pool. That's just, I don't know how you can take yourself from that corner when everyone that just going to come in and just punch you up like a punching bag, of Ravel not being included in a 60-man pool for the Gold Cup. But again, Ravel missing for the Gold Cup. Catch you on the next side for the World Cup qualifier coming up in the weekend is coming up, and also the next window after the World Cup qualifier finish for the June window, it will be September. So Ravel will be searching for a club after the World Cup qualifier finish for the June window. But again, missing pieces, you could at least, as I said, I probably would have had one more midfielder in that department, could just give it a little bit more beef in it, a little bit more extra body, because you have Casey John and Isaac Hayden as 3 out and out players that designated central midfielder. Bobby Reid is, you could say, develop as a number 10, but can play as a right back, can play as a right midfield, anywhere in the front three except a number 9. But you understand, flexibility again, to the squad. And moving on, to the attacking area, 4 strikers, 4 wingers. I don't know. The big one is Mikel Antonio for me. Someone that played 15 times in the last campaign that just wrapped up. He played 15 times. He started 11 games and played 874 minutes. Scored 1 goal. 1 assist. His last game was December the 3rd versus Leicester City, where he just played a few minutes in that game as well. So how can you get this player in when you go by your words by, with Shaman Nicholson not playing enough, not on form, Mikel Antonio having kick a ball since December the 3rd in a competitive space. So I just cannot buy it off why I know Mikel Antonio is getting in. But we shouldn't be surprised because the coach come out and said, Mikel Antonio tell him, say, coach, pencil me in for the Gold Cup. Pencil me in for the Gold Cup. And see there, Mikel Antonio is in it. As bad as thing is with Shaman Nicholson, he's not on farm. He's not playing in the club game. His last match was on April the 17th when he played Mazatlan. When he played like just 5 minutes in that game. So if you ask me to choose, I would probably choose Shaman Nicholson, over, Mikel Antonio. Because why? This guy is just coming from a car crash where he could have, easily to lose his life. Easily could have lose both legs. And I just don't know, man. Like, Mikel need to go find himself a club. I know West Ham, I think, kind of give him a short-term contract where he still can, be under, their guidance, and doing his recovery and everything. But my God, Mikel Antonio doesn't deserve to be in his team. How can you have 4 strikers, 2 Portra and 2 number 9s where he said post-up strikers? So you have Romario Williams and Mikel Antonio as the big body, as the number 9, and then you have Roman Borrell, and Warner Brown as the 2, you will say, the sprinters in the front line that will play the number 9 position. So Trevante Stewart, again, someone that scored loads of goals in the Serbian Super League this season. Like, how can you make that up? A player like, Trevante Stewart, it's just, I just can't buy it. Like, Trevante scored so many goals this season, in the Serbian Super League, and he just played his last game, weekend gone. You understand? And another player that missing, Norman Campbell. And I did a video about Norman Campbell and why and how he could have get included in the squad. People in the comment section saying he's wild. Remember, when I said the same thing about Ronaldo Cephas, and I'm going to say this, when I got eat on the words about Norman Campbell in the next 2 seasons. So the next 2 seasons, when I got eat on the words about Norman Campbell, because just look at what is present in front of you. Now look at where the player is coming from and the league that he's playing now, and look how the player is growing. You could see the growth in his gameplay. A player that was a natural winger continue going to a much tougher league, a much tougher environment, tougher defenders to play as a supportive striker. He's more getting complete as a player as the seasons goes by. So when I got eat in the words, and the same thing when I say about Ronaldo Cephas, fast and foolish and don't know what to do with the football. But 4 strikers? I don't think this squad really need 4 strikers. We have 3 midfielders that are designated central midfield players. I think we could have at least take out, probably could have easily take out, you would say, a Mikel Antonio and drop in a Malik Madasil. How come a Malik Madasil, someone that have played over 3,000 minutes of football this season? Someone that, double-digit goal and almost double-digit in assists as well. So this player have 20-plus goal contribution in League One football. Started more than 3/4 of his game that he played this season for, that just ended for Peterborough. So I can't understand why, another player is in it too. A player like BC Atkinson is in it as well. You understand? A player with 33 JPL games, 13 goals as well. Someone that close to 30 goals contribution in the entire season in all competition. Very good player at the level in the Caribbean. You understand? I mean, he's there on merit. If you could ask me, maybe he's there on merit or he's there on credit. You understand? But again, Madasil, another player missing. How can you not include a Malik Madasil, someone that played as a 10 at his club team for majority of the season? More than 90% of the time, Malik played as a 10 in his team at the club level, and he cannot get into this team. I just cannot make that one up. Cannot make that one up. And when you talk about minutes, he's one of few, or if he's the only player for the Reggae Boys this season have played over 3,000 minutes of club football this season. That's lots of minutes. Maybe John Russell, the next player that can come really close to that as well. So I mean, look, Shaman Nicholas is another one, played 9 times, in the Liga MX. He started 5 games, 1 goal, 4 assists. The last time he played is April 17. A player like Javan East, again, is not in it. And Mikel Antonio is in the team. I can't understand. And McCLAREN needs to get a lot of punch up for this, that Mikel Antonio is in the team. That someone who almost lost his life, someone who could have easily lost both of his leg, is in the Gold Cup team. I cannot buy this. If you want to bring him into the Gold Cup team, let him train at the team, fine. But look at the spot that he took. Norman Campbell, a Trivante, a Javani, someone like Javani that played 14 games in the Israel Premier League. It's in Europe. That's a top division team in Europe. 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 goals contribution in 14. I mean, you can't buy that. Norman Campbell, 26 games played this season, 17 start, 7 goals, 1 assist, 1,482 minutes of club football played this season in the league alone. 35 shots on goal, 14 shots, on target. That's like every 2 shots on target he scored this season. You don't need a better ratio than that. You don't need a better return than that. Someone that have created 20 opportunities for his teammate. Dribble success is 50%. Successful dribble is 31 times, and he had won 78 defending duels. So that's a player that can actually do a little bit of work on the defensive side, and he's the only attacker in his team that won more duels. So that's a player that can do both sides of the football: pace, energy, skill, goals. The eye for goal, shots on target, shots on goal. You get anything from Norman Campbell. You understand? So he's coachable as well. A young player that's hungry. So Mikel Antonio took a spot in the team where at least 5 players need that one spot. Norman Campbell, he still can name Bowser, because if Mikel Antonio get picked, Bowser need to get picked in the team as well. So, boy, McCLAREN, him have that one I cut out. I'm sorry for him in the next upcoming press conference, because the man them are gonna go after him really hard, because I just cannot understand. And Mikel Antonio having played football January, February, March, April, May, June, 6 months. So last time he played football was in 6 months. The first week in December, the last time that man kick a ball competitive space. I was hoping Mikel Antonio go find himself a club and return and try to prove himself to get back in this team. But it seems like it's a cakewalk for Mikel Antonio. So let's see what he's going to do, because look, we're going to have to back him. He's in the team. Hopefully the best for Mikel Antonio. He scored in the Copa America of last summer. So let's see if Mikel Antonio can get some goals, for the Reggae Boys. This will be his 3rd summer tournament for the national team. He played in 1 Gold Cup already, and also, played in the Copa America, and then he will play in the Gold Cup again. So let's see if Mikel Antonio can add to his goal tally, and try to beat his best that he done last summer. So I mean, that's all I have to say. I just can't understand a player like Norman Campbell. 26 games played, 17 starred, 1 assist, 7 goals, played 1,482 minutes in the league. Just played on the weekend in a playoff, tried to get into the qualification of the Conference League. Someone that had 35 shots on goal, 14 shots on target. That's like every 2 shots on target is a goal for him. 20 chance created. Dribble success is at 50%. Successful dribble 31 times, and he have won 78 of his duels this season. So I mean, what more can Norman Campbell do? What more he can do? What more the other players can do to get into this team? I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. That's why I said, there's a quota system on the national team that is invisible, to our eyes. that outside, you know, looking in from the public domain. Yeah, you have to be inside of the administration to really see that writing on the wall. And that writing on the wall said, hey, I pick who I want to pick, and I don't really pick players on merit. I pick players by credit, because Bar say, no, ANTOINO, they get picked by merit, and get picked on credit. I wonder which contract him up, either digital or lime or flow. I don't know, but that's it, man. You know, that's where I will leave it. You know, give your takes in the comment section, and you know, we will chop it up again. See you guys. Look more from now with another video. Peace out. I'm out.